Hey guys, what's going on? My name is Tylearn, and today I am bringing you guys what if Johnny actually made Eagle Fang instead of Cobra Kai back in season 1. Now, this what if at first probably doesn't look like one that would change the story in too much particularly, but actually deep diving and thinking about it, it actually does. So today I'm going to be covering what would have happened had Johnny, instead of trying to make Cobra Kai to spite Daniel, rather than making an actual dojo not just to spite someone, but rather to actually, just live and keep moving forward with his life. We are quite literally removing the one thing that made this show, Cobra Kai. So with that being said, ladies and gentlemen, we are going to be diving into this what if. What if Johnny made Eagle Fang instead of Cobra Kai, aka what if the show was called Eagle Fang? One thing's for certain, the show's name is way worse. Eagle Fang is such a bad name. Alright, let's actually get into this what if in all seriousness, and I hope you guys do enjoy the video.
Hey, collecting rings like I'm Sonic. Bitches wanna party. My wrist getting heavy, so I got 'em on a diet, yeah. Flex like I'm Hogan. Yo, he's coming over. Yeah, we respect.
Alright, so for this to work, Johnny can't be thinking about getting revenge on Larusso or really having that mentality fueling his dojo. This is more so of a last-ditch effort at trying to make a living while also going back to his natural roots. I do think it makes sense for Daniel to kind of motivate Johnny into making a dojo, but this time it's not going to be as much motivation as it was in canon, because in canon it was the last straw. We'll just say that Johnny was considering this idea beforehand, and Daniel is now basically giving Johnny a light push rather than a pretty big push that leads into Johnny actually, making Cobra Kai again. This time he's making Eagle Fang, which means he's going to be embracing the Eagle Fang philosophy, which is essentially a balance of Cobra Kai and Miyagi-Do's. The kids that would attend Eagle Fang are still going to be the strike first, strike hard, badass kids. However, they aren't going to be beating up people or really be evil like how they were in the 80s. Rather, Johnny's going to be teaching his kids similar to what he was teaching them in season 3, about honor, about respect, about sometimes showing mercy. All those lessons that were incorporated in the seasons, season 1, season 2, and season 3, are now going to be incorporated way earlier. And frankly, I don't think it's really too out of character for Johnny to think about this, because he remembered how much karate really messed him up mentally, especially since he trained with Kreese. That's why Johnny's taking these extra precautions to teach these kids karate, because he remembers how much it messed him up back in the 80s, but now, this is the next generation, so hopefully they can learn a thing or two from the old generation and basically not try and act like their old 80s self. Now, I want to get into another change that is going to be occurring here. You see, Daniel would see this new karate school open up in Reseda, however, he wouldn't freak out due to it not being Cobra Kai, and he wouldn't be checking out this dojo or anything. He's not going to be suspicious. Instead of Daniel initiating a way to try and shut down Cobra Kai, which triggered from him seeing this new karate school, is old memories that he had with Mr. Miyagi. For example, with him and Mr. Miyagi going to Cobra Kai, and he and Johnny settling their beef once and for all, and it just mainly triggers old memories of Daniel and Mr. Miyagi training, and it just makes Daniel miss Mr. Miyagi, and clearly the show is showing the audience that. And over the course of the next 5 episodes, Daniel isn't going to be trying to shut down the new dojo, but rather he would still be kind of uneasy, and Amanda would try and talk to him once he kicks Tom Cole's tea out of his hand. And after that, Daniel would admit that he really misses Mr. Miyagi, and this would lead into him paying him a visit at his grave. Daniel would still get back into karate because he still misses Mr. Miyagi in this timeline. However, he isn't going to be trying to shut down the new dojo or whatever. Rather, this is more of a personal arc that Daniel's having. Now, Daniel's arc is still formed the same, but let's backtrack a little bit and actually go over what's going on with Eagle Fang, since, that is the main meat of the video. Eagle Fang currently is kind of going through the same build-up as Cobra Kai did. And what I mean is Johnny is trying to get students, and initially it doesn't work, and really his only student at the moment is Miguel. But once Miguel beats up his students and shows the school Eagle Fang's karate in the way of the fist, this leads into people actually wanting to join Eagle Fang, including Eli, Dimitri, etc. And like Dimitri, he would be embarrassed and would basically leave day 1, while Eli would transform and flip the script. And yes, here, Aisha would still be the second student of Eagle Fang, just like how she was the second student of Cobra Kai. Basically, all that formation is still the same as in canon, but just under a different name. Now the thing is, what's interesting is that when Sam and Miguel actually go out on a date, we wouldn't have Daniel and Johnny ruining this relationship whatsoever. Think about it for a second. Daniel and Johnny don't even beef right now because Daniel isn't even aware of Johnny's new dojo because he doesn't have it under the same name as, the old dojo that beat up Daniel as a kid. So this means really Daniel has no reason to go up against Sam dating someone from Eagle Fang. And plus, Daniel could just talk about Cobra Kai and how it was bad back in the day, but she isn't going to be warned by Daniel to, watch out for Cobra Kai because it doesn't even exist in this timeline. So when Sam says to Daniel how she's actually dating someone and it's from Eagle Fang, Daniel isn't going to be tripping out because that kid in no way, shape, or form, at least to Daniel's knowledge, is connected to Johnny. And so because of this, Daniel would say that he wants to meet the kid, just like how he did with Tylearn. I think Sam would also use this time to explain to Daniel that this boy saved her from Tylearn because Tylearn basically was spreading these rumors about her, and this led into Miguel fighting him, and Miguel easily being able to beat these guys up. And Daniel would then question if these rumors were true, and Sam would get defensive, and Daniel would calm her down, saying that he knows she wouldn't do such a thing and he can tell that she's telling the truth. And Daniel, thinking about how this guy actually defended Sam, he's starting to like him already, and he hasn't even met the boy. And so he would tell Sam to bring him over for dinner tomorrow, and this would lead into Sam immediately going upstairs to call Miguel, and rather than basically the family storming off into an argument, this would lead into Sam calling Miguel, being excited, saying that her dad wants to meet him. Miguel would get hyped up himself, and this would lead into the next day with Miguel looking at pictures of Sam, and this would lead into Johnny actually sitting him down and warning Miguel to be careful with the Larussos. Now, while this is happening, Daniel would be training Robbie and taking him as his new pupil. They would go into the forest and train, and this would lead into Robbie this time not staying over for dinner. Instead, he probably gives food for Robbie to go because he wants to meet this boy who's been dating Sam, and this would also lead into Robbie being told that Sam's dating someone. So maybe now he can back off. Wait, what? Robbie understands, and Daniel would say for Robbie to come by tomorrow as they can all eat then. Robbie would keep his chin up, and he would then exit the Larusso household, and minutes later this would lead into Miguel crashing his bike onto the Larusso household and then introducing himself. Now you guys are probably wondering, oh, wouldn't he recognize Miguel because, he entered Cobra Kai's dojo and he saw Johnny? Nope, he would not recognize him because he never even steps into the dojo in the first place. This is far different from the original timeline. We never even got to this point. Miguel didn't even make it past the doorstep because he saw Robbie eating with them. But because of Daniel not being aware at this point, this allows Sam to actually let Miguel introduce himself properly. Now, I think as a quick overview of the dinner, I generally think the Larussos would like Miguel. I think Amanda and Miguel's interactions would be interesting because we never actually really see them interact all that much. So now we actually can have them properly being introduced to each other. Maybe Daniel's grandma seeing some resemblance between a young Daniel and Miguel. And even with Daniel explaining to Miguel about his past history with his old bully. And Miguel just keeps quiet for now and would just listen to the story and listen to Daniel's perspective. Now, generally, I think this is going to be a very awkward moment for Miguel, but he doesn't want to ruin the dinner or the moment, so he's just not going to say that he's aware of another side of that certain story. I think this scene could just be mainly Miguel freaking out and him being uneasy, and Daniel questioning as to why he's acting like that as he's progressing through the story, and Miguel's just listing all the differences in his head. It'd be a really good moment. Now, after this point, Miguel and Sam aren't going to be arguing or being distant with each other, and really Miguel's not going to be mad at Sam at all. The only reason Miguel was even mad at Sam in the original and was distant was because they weren't getting anywhere in the relationship. They were having fun, but Miguel wasn't progressing with Sam and wasn't able to meet her dad or anything. But this time, the exact opposite happens. So Miguel is going to be progressing with Sam a lot further than he ever did in Season 1. Miguel's not going to be mad and isn't going to be starting a party or anything like that, or isn't going to start a party that Sam isn't going to join in because she has no reason to be grounded. Johnny and Daniel aren't encountering each other. So honestly, it is quite impossible for a big conflict to occur in Season 1 because Daniel isn't aware that Johnny's running Eagle Fang. At least it's not possible yet. Now, inevitably, we are going to be getting the All Valley tournament because, well, the party, I don't think anything bad is going to be happening because Sam never gets grounded, she's not going to be taking Robbie, and Miguel and Sam are at a really high point in their relationship, so really it's just going to be a good night for everybody. And even for Johnny and Daniel as well, considering the fact that Johnny and Daniel aren't going to be hanging out. Johnny has no reason to hang out with Daniel because he's not going to get a new car because Daniel's cousin doesn't destroy it in the first place. Now, something I forgot to mention before we proceed on with the story is that Johnny doesn't actually fight for Cobra Kai joining because he doesn't have Cobra Kai in this timeline. It's Eagle Fang. So, just like any other dojo, they should be allowed in. So, with that being said, Eagle Fang is easily allowed in, no contention whatsoever, and they're not even going to be banned in the first place. Now, I think when the All Valley happens, things are going to be a lot awkward. Now, obviously, since Eagle Fang isn't teaching No Mercy, and Johnny and Daniel aren't going to be building a relationship just for Robbie to destroy it, and for Johnny to teach the kids No Mercy, this means basically everyone in Eagle Fang is an honorable and respectable fighter, and unlike the Cobra Kai kids back in the 80s. Now, Cobra Kai's colors tend to be black and yellow during the All Valley, but since this is Eagle Fang, Johnny's going to be representing different colors, and Eagle Fang's main colors tend to be red and white, so we're going to be basing our outfit drip for the All Valley for the students based off that. We need these guys to be goddamn drippy, so we are going to be making them look drippy. And with that being said, we are going to be having a primary red and a secondary white. It is pretty clean, and with the eagle symbol, oh!
Commission time. If leaving, please replace.
Alright, but with that being said, the first matches are going to be pretty similar to in canon, but obviously this time Miguel is not going to be enraged or anything like that because him and Sam are actually going great. However, what's going to be a problem is when Johnny realizes that Robbie has been training under Daniel, and Daniel has been realizing that Johnny's been training Sam's boyfriend. Everything is kind of bad right now since everything's just unraveling all at the same time rather than one step at a time. Everything was just building up to everything being great, and now it has this one big fall that's going to be ruining everything. Johnny's mad at Robbie for betraying him and mad at Daniel for even considering this. Daniel is mad at Robbie for lying to him along with Miguel, and everything is just really awkward right now. However, I do think Robbie and Miguel are going to basically just put whatever their senseis have to say aside and continue fighting. Daniel and Johnny are pissed off, but they've kind of picked bad timing to let this unravel. So for the time being, they're going to be just letting everything be ignored right now, and they just need to fight. And so with that being said, we would have the All Valley occurring with the first initial rounds basically happening the same. It's just Miguel and Hawk and Aisha are wearing way more drippier outfits. And you guys are probably like, what about Bert? Oh, what about Bert? Now, I think the semifinals is where things begin to change because Hawk isn't going to be using No Mercy here. Eagle Fang doesn't teach that. And so with that being said, even though Hawk gets the first point, Robbie would get the next point, and then they would decide on the final point. Hawk and Robbie would fight for a pretty decent amount of time before Robbie then actually leaving Hawk wide open for an attack. Robbie then strikes and gets the last point and moves on to the final rounds. This time Hawk takes the L like a champ and isn't a dirty rat about things, and so Robbie's arm isn't broken. This means we have a fully conditioned Robbie versus a fully conditioned Miguel. Now, I do think Miguel would lose this match, however, I do think it would make sense narratively for both of them to draw. The thing is, Robbie was able to hold his own with a bloodlusted Miguel, but the thing is, Miguel, or quote-unquote bloodlusted, and Miguel's quote-unquote bloodlust was more so low-key blinding him, and plus, this isn't really Eagle Fang's way of fighting and more so of a Cobra Kai style of fighting. So although I think narratively it's the best for both of them to kind of draw with each other, here I think it's fine for Miguel to get a natural W since his way of fighting is actually going to be way different from his aggressive Cobra Kai style, which Robbie could take advantage upon. So Miguel would win here, however, Miguel never cheats or is dishonorable about anything, so Miguel would help Robbie back up and they would say good fight to each other. Although I think them tying would more so show how Daniel and Johnny need to move on, I think this ending isn't so bad either, as it still shows that Daniel and Johnny need to grow up out of everybody. And it's a nice little bit of symbolism here because the people that are teaching them this are the next generation, the kids after them. Anyways, this would lead into Daniel and Johnny apologizing to each other and making sure that they just stay out of each other's way. Now, I think for Season 2, Kreese wouldn't show up because Cobra Kai doesn't exist at all. However, what I do think would happen is we basically get some closing arcs with people. Since the students never ratted or anything, I think Johnny's note to Robbie would actually come through. Yeah, you guys thought I forgot about that? Hell no. Johnny could take Robbie to the burger place that he took Miguel back in Season 2 and basically telling Robbie that he failed him but he wants to make it up to him. This leads into Robbie and Johnny deciding to start new, and as for Carmen and Johnny, I think they're going to be getting together with maybe the end of Season 2 being Miguel finding out and accepting Carmen and Johnny. Who knows? The point is, by the end of Season 1, Daniel and Johnny can actually stand each other, and hell, maybe in Season 2, when Daniel asks about if Robbie could stay, we can have this arc of Johnny concluding by him accepting this and allowing Robbie to stay there, and maybe even Robbie moving in with Johnny by the end of things. Now, although I find this version of the story to be a lot more uneventful, you could say, I think overall the interactions were pretty cool, and the fact that Season 1 was actually very different was pretty cool to unravel. With that being said, ladies and gentlemen, if you did enjoy this video, be sure to give this video a thumbs up, as that is greatly appreciated, and subscribe if you are new, that is greatly appreciated as well, and hit the bell icon, that way you are notified and updated when I upload, since YouTube tends to be wonky with that notification stuff. Be sure to follow me on Twitter and follow me on TikTok, those will be linked in the description, and I'll see y'all in the next one. My name is Tylearn, I'm going to catch y'all on the next one. Peace out, have a nice rest of the day, everybody. Also, let me know what type of Cobra Kai videos you want me to do in the near future. I'm open to suggestions.
Bravo.